Chip Crooners, welcome. My name's Donato and welcome to today's daily vlog, which is number 47. And in today's vlog, I'll be talking about the New York City Marathon Ballot and a quick summary of yesterday's long run. Yeah? So let's go! So yes. Welcome. Today is Monday, the 14th of January. And as I said, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. Bit of a different location today. So obviously my ongoing challenge is to do the daily vlog. And we're already up to number 47. So wherever I am, wherever I'm doing, I'm out here vlogging. And the original plan, and this is related to marathon training, running, planning and all that type of thing. The original plan is lunchtime I was over at the White Rose shopping centre near Leeds, and I was going to do some filming, talking as I was going along there, but obviously not having been there before, I didn't realise that it would be so noisy, loud music playing and all sorts. And obviously with YouTube these days, they pick up any music in the background, and all you would get from me is it would blank out all the copyright music, and it'd be like, that's right, just watching my lips move, and it wouldn't be very informative, would it? Yeah? So yes, a particularly warm welcome to those of you who are new here and on their first ever marathon training journey. Yes, I'm into week 16, started Christmas Eve for me for Boston Marathon. So I'm a number of weeks ahead of the London Marathon training and all the other spring marathons. Ooh, I got a bit of an itch in my ear. Ooh, let's sort that itch. Ooh. Right, sorted that itch. So, but first I want to talk about New York City Marathon Ballot, yeah? Now, I'll put a link up there. That my first ever marathon major. And what a way to start with the marathon majors. For those of you who don't know, there's 6 marathon majors. It's New York, Boston, London, Chicago, Berlin and Tokyo. And I've done 4 of those, yeah? I've just got Berlin and Tokyo to go to finish my set of 6, so to speak. But my very first one was New York 2017, November 2000. How could I ever forget? But I remember vividly today, the day, right? Today the ballot opens, and I remember my excitement. I had a time qualifier, but it was first come, first serve. So I was literally refreshing the button. I think it was 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time or UK time that the ballot opened for entries. And obviously there's the general ballot where your name gets randomly selected out, and then there's the time qualifiers like myself. I had a time qualifier from Frankfurt Marathon, and I was frantically putting in my application. I think it took me all of 6 minutes, which was getting that, and I got it in. And obviously the buzz and excitement I got from qualifying, getting that time in. But the ballot, it's there's a few key essentials, and I think you need to be registered with New York Roadrunners. So do that now if you haven't already done so. So make sure you're registered with the NYRR, yes, New York Roadrunners. You need to be registered with them. I can't remember what the fee is in terms of joining that, and then you need to pay. I don't know how much it is these days to enter New York City Marathon. It's not cheap, yeah. I've got to tell you that, it ain't cheap. It is the biggest road marathon, my understanding, in the world. So it's amazing, and I just can't recommend it enough. I mean, when I was in the shopping centre earlier today, I did see the big NYC signs everywhere, and there seem to be T-shirts of NYC were everywhere. It is an amazing race, an amazing city. The people are amazing. I mean, the day I raced it, it was like 2.5 million spectators. It really does make all the other marathon majors look a bit... I think Chicago's the next biggest, but when you look at other marathon majors that are huge in themselves, but when you get to New York, it's just nothing like it. I've done all 3 of the majors in America, New York, Boston and Chicago, and they're all amazing, different in their own ways, but just scintillating, absolutely scintillating. So if you get the opportunity and you've got the money and budget to do it, go for it, just really go for it, and good luck with the ballot. And for those of you who've got time qualifiers, first come, first serve, good luck to you guys as well. So are any of you entering the New York City Marathon ballot for this year, 2019? Leave the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And the turnaround time for the general ballot is pretty quick. I think it's within a month. I know that my time qualifier, I got notified within a week, 2 weeks of entering. But the general ballot, I think, is within a month. From what I recall, I think it's pretty much the same. So it's quick, and it gives you time to get your flights, accommodation, all of that sorted out, ready for November of this year. That's right, it's a bit of a long wait, but you can start the training now, which leads me on to nicely regarding the marathon training. For a lot of people now, with the spring marathon coming up, we're well into our generic 16-week training plans for the marathon. And for me, yesterday is the cornerstone of the marathon training, which is the long run. And yesterday's long run, I had lots of comments and questions regarding that. For me, the stage I'm at yesterday was 14 miles. Yeah. And for me, when I do those particular runs, and again, anything that I say on this channel, wherever, it's more about what I do. I'm not recommending or giving advice to you guys. It's purely talking about what I do. What you do with that information is up to you, yeah? We live in a free world. I'm not here giving any advice, and there's certainly no hacks. You know, if you're looking for any hacks or shortcuts, there are no shortcuts in marathon training. And I'll just go through a few of the key things of why the long run is so important. And people ask about the key things there is about nutrition and pace. Now, for me, in terms of nutrition, when I go on my long runs, most of them are pre-breakfast, so I'm running on an empty stomach, and I have no water or gels on the runs. There are 1 or 2 long runs, and I'll go that into more detail later on in the weeks. As you get closer to the race, maybe you pick up a different pace, but the idea of the long run is LSR, long, slow run. What's slow for me may be quick for others. It may be slow for others. So we need to know the pace, and the generic thing is about being able to talk and converse. So if you watched my vlog from yesterday, I am talking to you guys. Whilst it was windy out there, I am talking so I can have a conversation whilst I'm running along, and that's regarded as a slow run. And for a lot of my runs as a beginner, I was only running 3 times a week. Yeah, my 3 runs a week. So it was Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Sometimes it'd be a Saturday instead of a Sunday, and I'd move those about. But it was allowing me rest days in between. And me being a beginner novice, I need to get my body used to running. And there's a lot of things, and the beauty of the easy runs is training our body to be more aerobic and being able to burn the right types of energies. And there is a lot of talk, and you hear about this thing called the wall. And I think Thomas Fritz commented about the wall, and he gets some hate comments or whatever, but the bottom line is the wall, yeah, there could be a wall. It's all to do with the glycogen level that we have, and I'll do a specific vlog talking about the wall and why really for a lot of people it is just a myth, and it's something that in our heads. I vividly remember on my first marathon where I literally sort of fell to pieces after about mile 12, mile 13. That's nothing to do with the wall. That was just me fatiguing and getting tired. So there's a big difference between hitting the wall where all your glycogen levels have totally depleted and fatiguing. Unfortunately for us as beginners, we do fatigue easily. And I know there was one of the comments I had on social media. I've forgotten the chap's name. Went out on a 10-mile run, and he said he was shot to pieces at the end of it. It's the longest that he's ever run, and you're going to feel that way. That's fatigue, because people often straight away revert to, oh, I need this nutrition, that nutrition, or this or that. I mean, if you've been eating sensibly throughout the week and drinking a fair amount of water as well, rather than teas and coffees and dehydrating yourself, if you're fully hydrated, you should have enough of energy and all that type of stuff to keep us going. And if you are feeling shattered and exhausted at the end, it's probably because there's 2 types of things. You've either been going too fast or too far for our actual physicality. And I remember vividly all of my long runs, I would literally, after about 2 hours, 2 hours 10, I would really start getting exhausted and feel, ugh. Now, I personally don't think it was for me was the glycogen level, because I would have all these gels and be popping them and eating them and drinking them and feeling, yeah, I'm ready to go. And some people say that it's a bit of a placebo effect that these types of nutritions have on us and make us feel that we can go faster when really we should be going slower. And because I talked about yesterday that to be able to run fast, we need to learn to run slowly. And it's the easy runs that build up our aerobic base and enable us to actually run faster for a marathon distance. Now, as I say, I've got to explicitly say it is running faster for marathon distances. So the types of training that you would do for a 5k race or a 10k race or a half marathon is very different to building the actual training regarding marathons. And to run fast marathons, I've seen people where in the last 6 miles, literally, and as I say, I mentioned about myself when I got up to mile 12. So for me, it was the last, what would you say, the last 14 miles where I just fell to pieces of just the fatigue, and I just could barely move my bodies and limbs and the muscles. And it was just having trained for that. And the only way we can train to combat the fatigue is by continually running year after year after year. And for me, one of the long runs that sticks in my mind, and it was a lesson to me where I learned that regarding taking on nutrition and water, and I need to bear in mind that if it is hot temperatures or you're wearing lots and lots of layers, whilst it may be cold out there, if you're putting lots of layers on, we're going to sweat a lot and we may dehydrate, and everybody dehydrates at different rates, so everybody's different. And I vividly remember one long run. Most of my long runs are on my own, but I remember going on one long run and I bumped into this young lad, and all he had was a singlet and shorts, nothing else. No belts, no nothing. I had my usual bag of loads of gels and mobile phone and everything in there, bar the kitchen sink. And I had this strategy of fueling at every X kilometres or X time. And I was doing all of that, but I just could not keep up with this guy at all. He was having to slow down for me all the time. And the biggest difference between me and him, I was only training for my second marathon. So I'd only been doing marathon training for about 8 months, if that, coming into my second marathon. Whereas this guy's been running for years and years. So he was just running and chatting with me. And for him, it was a very easy pace. And he didn't take on any gels, no water, no nothing. And you're sort of wondering, well, my guess is his body's adapted more. And we talk about fat adaptation and being able to burn body fat instead of carbohydrates. Again, I could do a whole seminar on all of that in terms of how we talk about it. Because people talk about the glycogen level going down. And as the glycogen level's going down, we train our body to start burning the fat. At the end of the day, there's people out there who do races 100, 200 miles, 300 miles, 400 miles, yeah? Now, if we're led to believe that our glycogen levels will burn out after, you often hear of the certain mileage, and I won't say those because they end up sticking out in our heads of things, that's when I'm going to run out of energy. It isn't the case, right? It's all about the pace that we run at, a bit like a car. When you've got fuel in a car, if you put your foot to the floor, we're going to burn that fuel up a lot quicker than if we go at a steady 55 mile an hour. My understanding is it still 55 mile an hour? Most fuel efficient speeds to drive at. So the idea is that we train ourselves to train at a more fuel efficient burning way, and that way I'm guessing, yeah, and you can leave some comments below of how it's working, is that we're burning a different energy level. I mean, for these guys to be going for 24 hours, however many hours, running these 100, 200 mile races, if it's all about just popping gels and energy, and often it takes at least half an hour for that energy to start converting in our bodies, it gets complicated, doesn't it? And I like to keep things simple, and to keep it simple for me, it's all about running at a nice, easy, steady pace. And I've ran a marathon where at the time I was injured, so I had to run at a considerably slower pace. And apart from having lots of water, because it was a really hot day, I think it was over 22, 23 degrees, very hot day. So I was drinking lots of water, but I didn't even touch the gels. And I ran the whole 26 miles and I finished, felt fine, apart from the pain of the injury in my back that didn't enable me to go at a certain speed. That in itself gave me a message for me, and I got to stress this for me, and what works for me is that I didn't need to take on any other energy things. Water is just water, and it keeps me hydrated because I was sweating a lot for the hot day. But that in itself taught me, well, hang about, if I'm running whilst it was considerably slower than the race pace, what should we be doing? And it's really, I say, it's difficult to put your finger on, and we talk about these things and everybody's different, and what works for some people may not work for others. And some people can be more what we call fat adaptive than others and adapt it a lot quicker. But if it is your first marathon and we are just doing a 16-week training plan, I don't know whether that's enough time for a lot of people to be fat adapted and be able to burn the right energies to run in the time. So for me, when I ran my first marathon, I just wanted to enjoy it and get out there and put in as good a time as I could. And most of my races is that way. And it turned out to be a great day. Whilst I did sort of fall apart for the last 14 miles, somehow I just kept going and going and going. And I even started scoffing on, there was people on the side with jelly babies, and I had some of those, which I think was a really bad idea because it made my stomach feel even worse. But that's for another day, yeah? So all I can say about the long run is LSR, long, slow run, is to take it easy, to take it steady. And if you feel tired and fatigued at the end, then not to panic, not to worry, oh, you've got to pop gels. The gels and all these energy type things and jelly beans, whatever, is, unless you've really had a rough night before, you haven't been eating sensibly throughout the week, we should have enough energy and water in our bodies, certainly for me, to enable us to do those long, slow runs. And I'll talk more over the coming days and weeks and talk more about how some of the long runs you can adapt some other paces in there if you want to try out in terms of fatigue training. But as a beginner, as I say, I keep going back to what I done as a beginner. 3 runs a week, and all 3 were nice and easy. No hill repeats, no sprints, none of that stuff. It was all slow, steady runs to enable me to build my aerobic base and to enable me to get to the finish of my first marathon. So I think that's it for now. Hopefully you found this of some use, of benefit. And and I don't know where I'm going to be filming tomorrow. I might be back at the same place, or I'll do some other plans. But hopefully you found it informative. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new here, please do consider subscribing and join in the fun and frolics here on the Running Guru Show. So yes, my name's been Donato, and today's been daily vlog number 47 on Monday, the 14th of January. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on Tuesday, the 15th of January, which will be number 48. It's amazing, this, isn't it? I really do appreciate you guys who come back each and every day watching these and leaving some great comments. We're getting a real bit of a buzz going on with people's comments on there. And please be aware that everybody's different, and what certain person views and what works for them, it may not work for everybody. And the thing is to respect other people's views and opinions. And at the end of the day, you know, I don't claim to be, whilst the Running Guru name is a bit of a fun thing for social media, is what works for me, as I said, may not work for other people. I'm going to go now. I need to crack on and do that. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So whatever you are, whatever you do, that's right, guys, running, yeah!